What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Polysports Podcast, episode number 3. I'm your host, Arturo Aguirre, and I'm joined here today by Zachary, Chen, Shem, Rivera, and Allen Valdez, who are all staff writers for the Poly Post. For this first half of the podcast, we're talking eSports, gentlemen. Now, recently, we've seen the popularity increase of competitive video gaming. But let's be for real, not every single game on the market is viable for an esport. So with that being said, what 3 elements make a video game esports worthy? Zachary, we'll start off with you first.
I believe what makes a game esports worthy is its ongoing support from the developers of the game. This includes gameplay adjustments, antivirus, and if you look at the most successful games in the esports market, like League of Legends and CSGO, a lot of them have been prominent for up to 10 years, and that's because they've been actively updating the game and maintaining the competitive aspect while keeping it refreshing as well. That's my point.
Shem, what do you got to say?
For me, I feel like accessibility is a key one to have, because not only do you want your game open to just like one area, you want to open to the whole world, because and having games like free to play games are extremely huge. Because if you look at all the big esports, they're all free games like League of Legends, Valorant, CSGO, and something that's also easy to understand. And so as a new time viewer, you want something that they'll pick up easily, but also something that is high in skill gap. So there's always improvement for the players. So that's something for me.
Alan, what do you got to say?
I think Zachary and Shem brought up some really good points. They said accessibility, ongoing support for the game from the developers. But for me, I think what makes a game worthy of being esports or esports material is that it has to be multiplayer or team based. Like they said, if you look at the most popular esports right now, which is like League of Legends, you have CS:GO. You had Overwatch for like a few months or a few years. They're all multiplayer and team based. Like you have League of Legends, which is 5v5. You have Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, CS:GO, you have 5v5. Valorant's the up and coming right now. It's 5v5 also. I think it just adds to what Shem was talking about earlier, the watchability factor of the game. Being that it's a team sport. I think being a team game is much more exciting to see than like a solo game. You can even relate it to sports today. If you look at the most popular sports right now, you have basketball, you have soccer, you have football, all of them, which is a team sport. I understand that, there's solo sports like, tennis, you have running, all those types of sports. But if you look at the top of the cream of the crop right now, the top sports, they're all team based. They all have like multiple players. So I think that's like really important in esports as well. So, just at the end of the day, are you having more fun, playing a game with other people or by yourself? So that's what, what I think, makes esports worthy.
Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, you 3 make a really good point. I mean, for gamers, I'm pretty sure they all agree with you. But now we'll switch over to, more of a debate now, gentlemen. With all that's being said, with the latest games that are coming out, the games that have been out, what game do you guys see dominate the esports scene? Shem, we'll start with you first.
Well, for me, since I talked a lot about accessibility, what's the most accessible thing everybody has right now? A phone. So maybe not one game in mind, but some of the most popular games, surprisingly, statistically, are mobile games. If you look at Call of Duty Mobile, Fortnite Mobile, or PUBG Mobile, for some reason, they're killing it in numbers. Even like on Twitch streams, the viewership is pretty solid for that. It was really surprising to see some statistics like that. But yeah, they're really, really active. And that's something I see growing even more in the next, 1 to 5 years. So I can see mobile games taking over. If you don't
Zachary,
Man, I've never seen anyone play mobile games.
All right, Zach,
Which
I'll let you speak because I'm seeing you have your hand up the mouth. You care to say? What do you got to say about it?
I ain't never seen a mobile game being played before. Maybe it's because I'm not in the market, but to me, the game that's going to be prominent in the next couple of years is still going to be League of Legends. It has over 100 million monthly players, which is at the top for genre, and especially on top for esports as well. If you look at the next big competitive game, Counter-Strike, they only compare at 26 million. So that only speaks to how many players are both playing and watching the game.
Alan, what do you guys say from what Shem and Zachary had to say? Agree or disagree?
I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm gonna disagree heavily with Shem's point here, because like Zachary said, I don't really know anyone that plays on their phone, or know anyone that actually like plays competitively on their phone. I mean, you kind of do sometimes when you just have some free time, but like no one that actually like uses the phone. But for what Zachary said, League of Legends, um, I almost agreed with him right there. I almost agree with him. But you know what? For me, the next big esport is gonna have to be the other Riot game, which is Valorant. You brought up some good points about League of Legends. It's been prominent for like over 10 years now, but I don't see it really having that stability over the next like 5 to 10 years again. Because right now in League of Legends, they have the salaries are getting insane. It's like into the millions. And then actually I heard like so teams aren't actually making money like having a team in League of Legends right now. So I'm choosing Valorant, as the next big esport. I think first person shooters have been like a staple in the esports industry. You have CS:GO. It's been like you said earlier, like 10 years it's been there. Like it's still being watched, like probably the second most watched esport right now. And CS:GO is similar to Valorant, but it's like more accessible. It's free to play. It's easier on the eyes. It's like more cartoonish. It like caters to the younger audience. You know, um, Going back to last year in June or
Alan, I'm gonna have to meet you right there, man. You've been talking for a little too long, man. You made some great points, but at the end of the day, we just got to move on. But gentlemen, those who are watching, let us know in the comments below who's right, who's wrong. And we'll just move on from there. But before we move on to the next segment of the podcast, we have a Bronco Silent Report with Jonathan Frias and Anel Ceballos. Guys, take it away.
What's going on, everybody? I'm back in L, and today I'm here with,
Hey guys, it's Jonathan.
and we're going to be giving you guys your Broncos Silent Report. So this past weekend, we had the NBA All-Star Game. We had Team LeBron James versus Team Kevin Durant. And of course, Team James took home the win with 170 to 150. A big contributor to that game was Giannis Antetokounmpo. He had 35 points and he got the MVP. But with this All-Star weekend ending, we're looking over for the second half of the NBA. What to look out for is Anthony Davis going to come back and pick up the slack from the Lakers? Also, according to league sources, Blake Griffin is planning to sign with the Brooklyn Nets. But that's enough for the NBA. What's going on over there for the NFL, Jonathan?
Well, in the NFL, Anel, looks like the quarterback market is going to be changing up again, as the New York Jets announced that they are accepting trade offers for Sam Darnold. So expect another young quarterback to be on the move this offseason. But that's all from the Bronco Sideline Report. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Jonathan and Anel, for that Bronco Sideline Report. Moving on to our second segment, which is soccer. We're joined by two more Polypost staff writers, Coco, Chica, and Diana Vasquez. The big topic of discussion for today is French superstar and already World Cup champion Mbappe, as well as the current top scorer of the UEFA Champions League season, Haaland. Can they, at the end of their careers, join the short list of GOATs in the sport? Diana, we'll start off with you. What do you have to say?
Okay, well, Alan, Haaland stats speak for themselves. Currently in Bundesliga, he has 19 goals with 19 appearances. Last year, in the Champions League, he had 5 appearances, 8 goals. And so, this also comes after he came from the team Red Bull Salzburg, where he had 29 goals in 27 games. Again, having more goals than the games itself. This 6'4" giant, the 6'4", 20-year-old giant, at this rate is accomplishing things that other members, like for example Lewandowski, weren't able to accomplish until like a year and a half later. Lewandowski actually accomplished the same mark when he was 23 and a half, 56 matches into his Bundesliga career. 20-year-old Messi hit that mark as well. But again, 53rd on his 53rd La Liga outing, So Haaland has reached these marks that are huge at such a young level, but and only a few players have accomplished this. But from my perspective, this has only been 2 years of Haaland's competitive league, of him playing a competitive league with Dortmund. And so, it's too early for us to say if that he will be one of those generational GOATs. Realistically, he can suffer an injury for a long time. He can mess his shape. If he were to get injured, his track of accomplishments will lose its track. And so, he still needs a lot of experience. And so, okay, and I'm gonna move on towards Mbappe. Okay, so Mbappe, I say Mbappe is halfway there to be the generational GOAT. Mbappe's 22. He has a World Cup under his belt. In that World Cup, he had 7 matches, scoring 4 goals. Players like Ronaldo and Cristiano haven't even accomplished that type of that accomplishment. And so, and his stats also speak for himself. This year, he had 23 matches, 18 goals.
Sorry, Diana, I'm gonna have to cut you off there. I'm sorry, you went on way too long. Diana gave her take on Mbappe and also Haaland. So Coco, we're gonna head to you. What do you think about what she had to say?
So I completely agree with what Diana has to say about Haaland, about him being a 6'4" giant and putting in the work that a lot of people haven't been putting on at this age. But the conversation here is really about Mbappe. This 22-year-old won a World Cup at the age of 19, joining the list of many short people, including Pelé, that were able to win a World Cup at that young age. Not only that, but this kid is worth $293 million. And if for those of you that know anything about the transfer market value in soccer, that makes him one of the most valuable players in the game at the age of 22. Now, I'm not saying that he's there all the way where he has to be, but this also speaks for his work, and he speaks for his soccer ethic and how he's been putting in the work that others haven't. For example, not too long ago, if you guys are aware, he did score a hat trick against Barcelona, which is one of the big giants in Spain. And only 3 players have been able to score a hat trick at the Camp Nou, which for a 22-year-old to do that, for a team that has a lot of respect in Spain and across Europe, that's a really big thing. Now, for Haaland, this 19-year-old kid has been putting in the work like others have. But I do have to say, like Diana said, he could be it could just be like a gas up method where it's only his first 2 years and then it can go really down. Like I said, we've seen Mbappe play for his club and also his country, and in both sides he's been putting in the same work, if not his best work during the World Cup. Now we're looking at both of these players going into the World Cup next year, potentially Haaland joining that team of young players, joining this squad. Now the conversation is really, are they going to be as good as they are in their clubs? Are they going to put in the same amount of goals and the same amount of appearances that they're putting in their clubs? That really is the conversation when it comes down to these 2 players, and to see who really lives up to that expectation and those goals in their club and all this that basically starts the conversation to say if they're anything like Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi.
Okay, I'm gonna have to stop right there. You gave your take. Arturo, I know you're ready to say some words here. What do you have to say about what Diana and Coco had to say?
Well, Coco and Diana, Allen, they made some really good points. One thing I got to call out Diana for is what she said about Mbappe. I don't know if you guys have heard, but she said Mbappe's already halfway there to be a GOAT generational player. And Diana, I'm sorry to tell you, he is nowhere near that level that Messi, Ronaldo set that example. Mbappe's 21, 22, I'm assuming, yes. Messi was 22 when he won his first Ballon d'Oro. Ronaldo was 23 when he won his first Ballon d'Or. Yes, granted, he's won the World Cup, which Coco mentioned before. It's a very, very rare award that many players, great players, have never touched, never won, never accomplished. What these 2 players, what Mbappe has been done at such a young age, the potential is there. But in order for him to take his game to the next level is to find a new challenge. Whether join a top side in Spain, which he's linked to Real Madrid, or even join the Premier League. And if he can continue that same level of success at the Premier League, which is one of the most competitive leagues in all of football, if he does it there, then there's no way in sight that he will be potentially reaching that level. For Haaland's sake, he's young, he's 20. He's in an incredible run, but at the same time, we've seen a glimmer of what he can do. Coco mentioned the World Cup, and yes, Mbappe's proved it, so we know he's going to show up. Can Haaland show up? You can show up in your club, but if it comes to the international level and you don't necessarily replicate that same level of performance, questions come into take. So it's only ultimately up to them whether they the consistency is key. Messi and Ronaldo have been in the top stage for 10 years. As long as they stay consistent and take their games each year to the new level, you can potentially see them as one of the GOATs for the future. But for right now, it's way too early to tell for both Haaland and Mbappe.
Okay. Now we've heard everyone talk. We've heard everyone give their takes. Does anyone have anything else to say? Diana, do you have anything else to say about what Coco and Arturo had to say?
I think, okay, so, I think we all agree Haaland is too early. He only has 2 years playing. Mbappe, though, Mbappe has from 4 to 5 years playing. You just said Ronaldo has 10 years, being this superstar giant that he is. And, Mbappe has half of those years. What makes you think he's not halfway there? I know the accomplishments are not there. They're not there yet, okay? But you also have to recognize that each year the league is changing. Each year there's more competition. And, I think Mbappe really does bring something that other players haven't. In that same year in 2008, we saw players like Hazard, and we saw players like, Barcelona, what's his name?
Thierry Henry,
Dana,
Ronaldinho.
you want to let everyone else give their take on it a little bit?
Look,
Wait,
Coco,
let me just finish.
I know you
Let
kind
me
of have
finish.
some more notes
So
on
look,
there.
we have players that were coming out.
I'm sorry, Diana. I'm sorry. Let's hear what Coco had to say.
Well, I totally agree with what Arturo has to say. In order to be the greatest or really, very good player into the sport, not only do you have to have a lot of achievements and putting the work at goals and scoring like that, but winning the Ballon d'Oro means you're recognized like worldwide as being one of the best players. Now, my rebuttal to that is that Ronaldo has won pretty much everything in every single league he's ever been in, but this man has not accomplished, and Lionel Messi have not accomplished a World Cup yet. And that's very, very, very much saying that a 19-year-old was able to lead his team at the age of 19. He was only 19 when he led that squad to a World Cup. So if you really balance it out, there's no really much difference there.
Okay. Everyone, we run out of time for today. That was our episode. Now it's up to the audience to decide who's on the right side of this discussion. Comment down below and let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time on the Poly Sports Podcast.
Hi everybody, my name is Amber Lee. I'm the sports section editor for the Poly Post. I hope you guys enjoyed the latest episode of the Poly Sports Podcast. For more content, you can subscribe to the Poly Post YouTube channel, and remember to turn on those post notifications to know when we upload another video. You can find more from the Poly Post on our new mobile app, now available on the App Store and on Google Play. Stay safe and see you guys next time.